Surprise, motherfucker.
What's going on, people? What's going on? It's the one-on-one sports show. This is the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I am Dante.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee.
And so we had a little precursor last week. We were saying that basically free agency started last Thursday. Well, as the NBA calls it, the official tampering period. And so now, by today, all the things they're getting finalized, and there's a couple of things that I guess they're, paperwork, they're signing up a few loose ends. But one that interested me, and I was just looking at, I want to say a Mavericks, somebody that's big on Mavericks Twitter. He was saying that it was interesting that the Jalen Brunson deal hasn't been officially announced yet. And what's going on, Brian? Appreciate Mobile checking in. It hasn't been announced, and neither has like the JaVale McGee signing, which kind of like, if you read the tea leaves, they were saying that maybe it was like a sign and trade. I do know that the Mavericks were pissed off because they felt like tampering would happen because they didn't even get a meeting. They had a meeting set up, and then the meeting got called off because it was like, yeah, he's signing with the Knicks, which, it leads me to two things. Yeah, they tamper. Everybody tampers, but nobody's mad when you tamper and it's your team that's successful, but also the fact that the report that, hey, he wanted to handle the ball and he wanted to be the guy. Now, I don't think he is the guy, but I think he had a better situation in Dallas. But, Shawnee you talk about it all the time, man. You can chase the money and then just be happy with it because you might not get the best situation when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
I totally agree.
With Bronson, if you're looking at it from his perspective, the needle was, leaning more towards him. He'll be a more of a primary ball handler. He'll get more playing time. Definitely more money. They raised the stakes by putting his dad on the staff. And, he's from that New York, New Jersey area. He spent time there. I think he also spent time in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. But, he spent time up there. So, Dallas, I guess they wanted to talk to him. But I was like, the needle's too leaning towards New York, and they just have too much to give. Now he's definitely sacrificing, winning for money, but he's a young player, and we don't know. He may not know if he get a chance to get that type of contract again. So I say, hey, go ahead and take your money. It's one thing if you like a major player and you'll get like another opportunity at that type of a contract. But with him, he got to strike with the irons hot. So I don't really blame him for going to New York. I think Dallas is I guess they just in their feelings because I guess they couldn't talk to him, so they want to claim tampering. But New York put a whole lot in his plate. Some people, unfortunately, it's good that Brunson got his money. I just hope people don't hold him and expect him to do what that money typically comes with. I don't think he's that player. I think he's a good system player or a piece to play. And he played with Luka, so they were a nice tag team per se, especially when he goes sit on the bench. But it's gonna be completely different when he's gonna be the main PG. I heard New York really likes him because he can set up half court offense, set them up a whole lot better. I know Randall is currently their best player, but if Brunson plays like he did, and especially in the playoffs with Dallas, the early playoffs, he may ultimately be the best player. So he's gonna get his opportunity to shine. Like I say, he don't know. This is like his first major contract, and you just don't know if that opportunity is gonna come again. So I don't blame him for taking the money.
No, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for taking the money. It just like I don't blame other players, for taking the money because that's really what it's about. Like, we were talking about it, and I really think, and I'm glad we got this platform to say, like, sometimes you got to mention that winning the championship does require some luck and even if you don't want to call it luck, it requires some breaks. So
now Bradley Beal, I feel different though. Bradley Beal, I feel different.
That's what I was leading in, man. You read my mind because if you want to be honest about it, Bill got his money, and he's in a situation where he was drafted in the first round. To compare it to Jalen Brunson, that's a second round pick. That's not even a guaranteed contract. You have to work hard to put in that work to get it guaranteed. That's why you see the Draymond Greens of the world, and that's his attitude. They carry a chip around his shoulder. Like Draymond used to do the Brady thing and know the people drafted above him, And so Bill's deal is you were, a top prospect, went to Florida when they were still pretty solid program, still are actually. And, you had chances to get out, but he played it the route that Kawhi played it. But Kawhi was a player in a better situation. He wanted that no trade clause. So now he's in a situation. He wanted, let me back up. He wanted the bag, and he wanted the no trade clause, and he wanted to lead the team to be the guy. Because under John Wall, John Wall was a comment. I'm paraphrasing. He was like, "Yeah, that's Robin. I'm Batman." Essentially, is what he said, and it was already rumored then. I was like, Bill don't really like that. And from everything I've heard from him and seen, I can see him being like, I'm that guy. I can lead this team to something. My only thing is, why would not to say that not to take a jab at the guy, but they're giving you 50 M's a season, or they give you 250 million. That's a heavy burden on the cap. They're paying Porzingis. They got a few years left on that deal. How are they going to build a winning team? Because you being the number one guy has never led that team to the playoffs. Let's keep it 100. We can talk about what happened with Russell Westbrook, and I know that they do the Westbrook thing, and that's kind of overblown. But when he came to the team, they made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. When you had a healthy John Wall, y'all made the playoffs. Healthy Bill, Wall was out, no playoffs. Last year, of course, he was injured, no playoffs. So it's kind of like, and he's getting close to 30. When are you going to show that you can lead a team? And that's one of those deals to where you can talk about Jordan all you want. He made the decision. I'm not about to give him the Supermax. I'm about to let him go because we haven't been able to build with him, and we're not a good enough organization. And whisper it, he's not that kind of a player. I've heard other people say like, we get hyped about the scoring numbers, but how else does he help? Like basically, Bradley Beal is the guy that you watch on the highlights, you be like, man, he's such a good player on this team. But like, I'm assuming if you watch him in more nuance, you will kind of see. Because if you look at his numbers, it's kind of like, oh, the top number is impressive. The advance, not so much. And he's a player that we know the playbook. 2 years in, hey man, I'm trying to go. I've tried, and he's gonna try to do it that way. Now, if he sticks it out, I respect it. I still just thought this was a perfect time. You earned your free agency. You get your decision to go to a winning organization like a Miami, somewhere like that. I'm not just saying it just had to be them, but go to a competent organization. Because when you don't have a competent organization, you don't have a competent organization, you have flaky stars. Looking at you, Brooklyn. Then you get Kevin Durant asking for a trade, and basically you get Kyrie Irving basically telling everyone, hey, I want to go to LA. And so if you trade for him, first of all, with his track record, will he show up? Will he actually show up if you trade him? And I've heard this. I heard this, and I can't remember which show, and they basically said they surveyed the GM, and they said on a scale of 1 to 10, how tradable, or how much do teams want Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook was a 1. Kyrie Irving was a 2. With all his talent, he was a 2 because he is. And I'll say this: I know a lot of the NBA owners are kind of liberal and whatnot, but they're still owners of basketball teams, and it's just like, hey, I'm paying you 30, 40 million. I'll go ahead and get the shot. And turned off teams without Amari Cooper. And I'm not surprised that his value's low. Nike's kind of upset. And I felt like that's actually the perfect time to get a guy like that. You have the ability. You're trying to get, let's be real, a player of that magnitude, he's already accounted for. Just like you and I, hey, I'm going to make this much for my job. I'm going to get this. So I'm a superstar and I'm about to get a Supermax. He's accounted for that. And for him to get scoffed at and be like, we'll give you a short-term deal. And he's like, look, he's a guy that's been banged up too. He's going to come out and give you a bet. I feel like, I'm not being naive as being a Lakers fan. I feel like even if he went to a team, a second-tier team, a Mavericks, a Philadelphia, which that would have been kind of crazy. If he goes to a team like that, I figure like you're going to get, for 1 year, his best performance. His best, you're going to get about 65 to 70 games because he plays about 55 to 65. You're going to get that, with the injuries and the rest days or whatever, you would get that. And then once you sign the Supermax, good luck.
Yeah. And you hear it all the time, but I think Brooklyn is currently doing this. They don't want to give him a long-term deal. They just going to give him a 1-year deal. And every time I've had several debates, I guess via Facebook, but Facebook you can only do so much because there's only so much you can actually type. Because people they interpret the way they're going to interpret. A lot of times they interpret a completely different way. But people, when they always want to talk about Kyrie, they always, and you hear people saying like, man, he just doesn't show up from work. They always just focus on the vaccine piece of it because it was really a law or something. So I was like, man, he had a track record even before the vaccine. The vaccine was almost just like the last straw, and even his teammates felt something against it. It frustrated. That's why Harden basically ultimately ended up leaving. And it was I heard some reports from other teammates just rubbed him the wrong way because he just wasn't there. So yeah, I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, last week. I was like, Kyrie has Hall of Fame talent, but I don't think he'll be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know how he can go about the way he go about and just still just expect teams to sign him to a multi-year contract guaranteed. I'm like, dude. And if people think about it, it's no different. Say if they own a company and you have an employee who's good at their job, but they never show up to work, you'll be getting frustrated too. Definitely. But I guess in today's time, everybody's so pro player, they just almost like ignore the obvious. And players they can just damn near do whatever they want to do. It's just no accountability for players. You saw that in the NFL with Antonio Brown. Now with Westbrook, it's the complete. Well, it's not attendance at all with Westbrook. When Westbrook touches the court, which is basically whenever he's healthy, he's going to give you 100%.
Yeah.
Westbrook, it's just his stubbornness to change his
Yeah.
game.
It's that's exactly it. And Brian, you're right. He does do a lot of hustling, and he's a player that if you are somebody that doesn't believe in analytics, he's the perfect test case. You see that box score, just the raw numbers, and you like, man. And then I show you this. If I don't show you the score, and then I show you the plus minus, he's a guy where it's like, oh, well, he did a lot, but he didn't really affect. I really think he's good for if they reroute him. And I've looked at way too many trade scenarios. I could do a whole show just with the trade scenarios of the Westbrook trade to anywhere, but let alone to the Nets for Kyrie Irving. But if he's a guy that if you send him to a young team and they're trying to win, that he's going to help them push toward. He would help San Antonio, even though they would be because he'd have the ball all the time. He'd help those young guys as far as professionalism and playing hard and hustle. But as far as making the right decision, he's not always going to do that. He is going to have those turn back the clock games where he looks like OKC him and he's hitting the shots and doing really good and, getting the triple doubles and things like that. But yeah, his time in the league as far as being a guy that's going to contribute towards winning. Yeah, he's definitely, and that's something that I feel like you can put on him. You can also put on some of the guys that, watch Kobe. The game has changed, and the whole just, shooting yourself out of the slump, that's not really how we play, how they want the game played right now, and it's not what's best. But Westbrook still, he subscribes to that, and is not the most efficient scorer. So it's kind of like, hey, he's going to do his thing. You kind of got to put him in a situation where basically, if you're trying to win a championship and further, playoffs and further, which is championship, he's not a guy that's really going to be built for you. And he's had his time. And he's slowing down. Of course, his jumper it's his worst. It's pretty much the worst probably shooting he's had in his career, and he's never been a great shooter. So you just got to deal with that. But he's a lost case. But a guy like a Kevin Durant, I want to open it up. And I just wanted to say, you mentioned player empowerment, and it's a time in which that's really hot. There are still some NBA fans that look at a Kevin Durant and they're upset with him. And I understand it because I'm a player empowerment person up until a certain point. And my thing with Kevin Durant is the house is burning, but you got matches. You literally set up. You had the Nets, and I posted on Facebook. You had an organization that gave you the keys, gave Kyrie the keys. And who did they have still on the roster? Spencer Dinwiddie was hurt. So, yeah, you had him able to trade as an expiring contract. You had Jared Allen, who ended up being an all-star as a center. You had Karis LeVert. You had, Joe Harris, who ended up staying. You had a workable core of pieces. You took those pieces in those picks, which the Nets struggled with defense. They could have kept those pieces, traded for a defender, and the picks traded for a defender as a missing piece. But you wanted to play with your other friend. You wanted to play with Harden because everybody had 2 stars at the time. Now you add 3, and you add 3, that makes the salary cap tight, and you're depending on the Nick Claxtons of the world to, come out and step up and match your level of play. And to be honest, he's always kind of chasing, I'm not sure what he's chasing sometimes. I know it seems like he wants to just go play ball. He don't want to be GM no more, and it's just like, he should have more reverence for LeBron. Like, hey, bro, that GM shit is hard. And I got to come out and drop 30 a night. And I got to take the heat when we lose. Like, that means a lot. So it's like all that, it really wasn't a conversation for me who was better, this, that, and the third, even after the conference finals. Even after the championship, it wasn't a debate to me because let's be real. As we've seen, you put KD on the team like LeBron had with those 18 Cavs, they're not going to the finals. Even in the East, they're not going to the finals. KD is just not that type of player, but you put him in the system like they had with that excellent system with the Warriors, moving the ball. Really somebody else to double. That's him. And what is he? Oh, and behold, what is he looking for? He wants to go to Phoenix. He wants, of course, Chris Paul, run the show, Devin Booker, a young star, and then himself. And so I think that's what he gets. But I do think he needs to. Maybe not. He needs to take some blame, but I think the ownership has to take a lot of the blame. They never put their foot down. Ever.
They had two stars, and I put it like it was the greatest team that never was. They had 2 stars, and they wanted to get the quick roll to a championship, especially when they made the Harden deal. But the dudes only played about 16 games together.
Something like that.
So I was like, yeah, you look at that whole, well, it's not officially over yet because they both technically still on the roster.
Yeah.
But I look at that thing as just like, I don't know how much of a mess that franchise could have been just because they had two individuals, primarily one. One basically was doing whatever he wanted to do, and the other, like you're saying, he was just straight enabling. He never really spoke to him about it. KD always had Kyrie's back, and that was basically with everything. And a matter of fact, it's almost like he still have Kyrie's back. That's what is leading him on this decision to want to request a trade, because Kyrie was looking for the big time deal. Brooklyn didn't want to give it to him, so it always looks like that KD is telling Brooklyn, y'all don't want to give Kyrie the big time money, so I want to request a trade. So I don't know, like you said, you don't know what KD is gonna do next, man. He's clearly not like from that cloth where you can use it as a pillar to build your franchise. So Harden is probably more of a pillar than KD.
Yeah.
Harden just wants stuff to be his way, and I kind of really don't fault. I really don't fault him for wanting to leave Brooklyn. He obviously saw something behind the scenes. He was like, man, and it's funny how close Harden and Westbrook are. Westbrook, he didn't like what he saw behind the scenes in Houston with Harden because they were letting Harden get away with it, and then he go hard and go to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and he pulled a Westbrook. I don't really like, because when Harden got there, I think all three of them was playing. Well, it was last year when he was already there on the roster, but last year all three was playing. KD got hurt, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was like a hamstring.
Yeah, and then it was just Harden and Kyrie, but because it wasn't really Kyrie because Kyrie was out because of the whole vaccine thing, and that made Harden feel some type of way. He behind the scenes he was kind of requesting a trade because he was saying he didn't want to come out and say it because of the backlash he got from Houston. So
yeah,
you put three pieces. That's like I go back. It was the best team that never was.
Yeah, and Marcus, I seen you in the chat. I appreciate you checking us out, man. We had talked about Murray because that deal had already leaked, and the only thing I worry about that DeAndre Murray from the Spurs going to Atlanta, he's like 6'4". I know he got decent arm length, but the two small guard things, as we saw, you might be able to get to the conference finals, but past that, I'm not sure because you need those big wings, and that's what you saw in the draft. Big people having big wings. Now, if they can get Hunter, who they drafted a few years ago to be the wing, and then whoever, whether it's Collins or someone else, if they can make up for their lack of size, but it's going to be sometimes where you're going to need a bigger two guard playing on the floor with them. But as far as John Wall to the Clippers, I like the move because of the shooting around him, but he's another guy where you're going to have to work him back into it. And I think that if you work it up slow with him, eventually you're going to see fourth quarters where he's running the offense and Jackson is on the bench because he's just not a guy that can set up the plate in the offense the best. He's a score first guy, and they struggle with that at times. And as far as KD, I'll take it back to OKC. If he's not a guy that's passive aggressive and doesn't speak up, what if he spoke up in OKC and had a meeting? And I've never heard that he did. Spoke to management, spoke to Russell Westbrook that, hey, I respect you, that you're alpha, but I'm the guy. I need the ball. I need to demand it. You got to take a step back. I wonder if he ever makes that statement to him, or he at least tells management, I'm willing to sign the extension in the offseason, him or me. I wonder if he ever does that, because we saw in this situation, he didn't step up to Kyrie, and he wasn't communicating well enough with James Harden. And it's obvious that whatever your friendship you had back in OKC, y'all are at a different place in y'all lives now. And and Harden has had a taste of being you might as well play Destiny's Child cater to you when you talk about the way the Rockets treated him. That's
why I don't understand why he wanted to request a trade, because a lot of decisions because of him.
Yeah.
So
it's like you basically had three guys that burnt down the franchises they were at, because we know what happened with Kyrie when he was in Boston. It was like, you can say it, they didn't have any problems. That's just the media saying that. Well, for whatever reason, when you were on the court and playing, it wasn't working. And when you weren't there the first year, and I thought he was playing well, he was distributing the ball. He was an MVP candidate, naturally, because he played for Boston, the Northeast, how the media goes. But he was playing well. Well, that was Tatum's rookie year. They go to the East Finals. So, like, Tatum is a guy that he's been there the whole time, and I think the Celtics probably wasn't too mad to be like, look, we got a guy here that can do it. Kyrie's more of a headache. And it's one of those deals where you had a team with so much talent, and you can say it all you want. Hey, if they were healthy, they win a chip. But they played, 16 games together? And then in the playoffs, they were looking like they were really going to do something. But, chemistry mattered. Kyrie was hurt. James Harden was hobbled. KD was 100%. And that's a shame. Some of the best basketball we've seen from him was that playoff series in 7 games. And it's crazy. His foot and the injuries changed the course. His foot being on the line changed the course of history. And that's it's a shame that we didn't get to see it. I enjoy KD, and I know he's 34. So, he's still in the prime. He still got some time left. I want to see him go somewhere and just hoop. I know I've seen interviews. If you talk to him about just hoop, he's good. When you go into where you going, or the cupcake, or the Twitter thing, which I don't know why I guess because it's been so long, you get mad about the Twitter thing, but the responding to randos, I don't understand it. What's going on, Pop?
That's just his personality.
That's his personality.
Because of that, he's not going to enjoy this whole offseason, especially if he changed teams. I mean, it's like, dude, you either going to have to start ignoring social media, because what you're doing, man, is, it'll come, especially a player of your caliber. And you still don't get the heat that LeBron did.
No.
Or continue to do. But I mean, he just one of the personalities. He has to respond to social media because people are critical on him. I'm like, dude, it may be best for you to start ignoring that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
And I'll say this, another thing before I move on to the other moves, because it's funny to me. So KD is one that still kind of critique the media at times, but it's like, bro, you got your podcast, the et ceteras. Hey, Draymond Green, you're the new media. Hey, bro, y'all got to kind of stop playing that angle, because now y'all in it. And just wait till y'all, either in y'all career right now, and you do it, because Draymond literally after the game is going live and doing it. So I appreciate his passion for it, because he's going to be a full-time podcaster the way his game is declining. Like, it's like it was getting rough in that Celtics series. And so it's like, I think, he might be pushing for KD to come because that'll help him out. But probably everything's going good, man. Everything's going good.
Speaking of Green, he actually went on because he was on that podcast with JJ Redick and them on his podcast, that Old Man at 3, when they was doing a live showing. He actually explained. I forgot exactly what he said. I have to hear it again. Go listen to it again. But he actually explained what he means by new media, and it actually makes sense. I think it goes along the line as what Draymond Green considers new media is the media that just talks. They don't talk about the game. They don't talk about the X's and O's of the game. They talk about stuff just to get a reaction from the general public, the sport public. They want to do all these hot takes, and they just want to do all these basically hot takes, and a lot of the material they put out there is not really based on basketball, like the X's and O's of basketball. It's just they just want to throw something out there, just label something so they can get these clicks on the internet and whatnot. And that's what he considers the new media compared to the old media, who was more connected to the game, more of analysts. It's like basically like old media and baseball equivalent, like a Tim Kirkshin. Somebody who knows the game, but he is knowledgeable of the game, so they will listen to him. Stephen A. Smith is knowledgeable of basketball, but then he also has a show to do.
He's the hot take guy.
Yeah.
He's the hot take guy. And when you dial in, and I listened to Monty Jones live, and him and Dominique Fox was saying, don't get it twisted. Stephen A. is really good at what he does, and like they're his brother on the ESPN, and they champion it, and I feel it. He is really good, but at his best, when you dial him in to talking hoops, and it's just like he's talking about, hey, this guy got to do this, he needs to do that, he's got to step up. Like when he was calling Jason Tatum out to be like, look, bro, you can't be out here in the fourth quarter with 2 shots. Like when you're doing that, that's literally like, hey, you the guy you the guy that's on the marquee. You can't be, and you got, you had Jaylen Brown stepping up. Well, you have to do your part. So in that part, yeah, I'm 100% with him. I appreciate him. The only thing I would like more balance, because the former player thing, it kind of gets to a point where it's like Draymond can do it. KD, when you really get him going and talking, he can do it. But it's some guys where it's just like, hey, bro, like, I know they say you get the role player guys, because those guys, they have to do this, and they won't make as many takes to get them kicked off the air because they need the bread. But some of these guys, I won't say their names, but some of them, it's just like, bro, I can't take it. But actually, I will say one, Asho. Asho is the worst for me. Asho is just, it's tough,
Which Acho? You talking about Sam or his brother?
I'm talking about Emmanuel. Sam is still trying to get it. Emmanuel is like, ooh, bro, come on. It's like every now and again he'll hit you one. But I was like, bro, I just had to sit through 16 bad takes for 4 good ones. Like, bro, that's the math ain't mathing, bro. Come on, man. But speaking of players getting traded and big moves, man, the fact that Rudy Gobert, and I'll say this, everyone is saying like, hey, Gobert got traded for 5 first-round picks and, pick swaps, and he's not worth this and that, and he's got the big $200 million contract, and now two $200 million centers are playing on the same team. Only thing is, if you watch Karl-Anthony Towns, yeah, he can slide to the 4. It's just a situation where you already know what's going to happen. When it gets to playoff time, and sometimes in the regular season, if the team has enough shooting and wings, Gobert's going to come off the floor and Cat's just going to slide to the 5. And you've already seen the lineup where he's at him at the 5. But I think for the bulk of the game, you're not going to be able to go and get into the rim. You're going to have to try to run him and pick and roll, but you have shooters and talent all around him. You got, for right now, D'Angelo Russell, even though I've heard rumors he could get moved. So you got D'Angelo Russell, you got Anthony Edwards, and you got Karl-Anthony Towns. What's going on, Jay? Appreciate you checking in, man. And so you got those players and those offensive boards around them. We finally will get to see if my wish of, hey, you have a traditional center. Yeah, he doesn't move his feet well, but this guy's a 3-time defensive player of the year, a former All-NBA center multiple times. Man, you have to be able to keep that guy on the floor, and he has value. And the thing is, everyone knows, hey, bro, Donovan Mitchell is a dynamite offensive player. But we just got to be honest about it. They all are getting mad at this guy getting traded for 5 picks. But if we put up blind resumes and we say who got the all NBA teams and who has postseason awards, that belongs to Rudy Gobert. So if you cover his name up and you say that, you say, oh, that guy's worthy of picks. But then you hear it's Rudy Gobert because he only averages 15. And I can see if he was averaging like 6. The guy's averaging like 15 points, 14 boards. It's not like he's just a stiff, but he's a guy that's going to be good on the pick and roll, and that's basically how he does. Don't really have a lot of post moves, but his value is defensive and rebounding. And if you didn't see it in the playoffs, if Rudy Gobert wasn't needed on one of those rosters that kept playing, you had 6'9" Kevon Looney eating on the glass, making him look like he was Shaq when he was playing against the Mavericks, getting 18 and 20 boards. Imagine Gobert out there. That's shut down, bro. And it's like he has a value. So, yeah, you overspent and they overplayed their hand, but the Timberwolves haven't had any consistent success since KG. They got to go for it, and I respect them because most of the picks, if it plays out right, are going to be, late 20s, in the 20s outside of the lottery. So I don't have a problem with it. And, and of course, everything isn't like apples to apples. They had the leverage of saying we could keep him or we could keep Mitchell. But with Danny Ainge, I think they're blowing it all up. And I think, Jay, you're going to get your wish real soon because it's rumored that Mitchell does not want to play for New York. He wants to go to Miami.
Yeah, Miami, they in the midst of, you got KD. He's a part of Miami is a part of KD's list of potential want to go. And, if I was Brooklyn, I agree with Brooklyn. I'd be like, you take your time with sending KD because they may feel like, you know, we did so much for you, and now you want to bail on us. We may not give you the benefit to go where you want to go because I don't think KD has he don't have a no trade clause on his contract. They could send that boy to Vancouver if Vancouver still had a team,
Yeah, he
and
doesn't. He doesn't have a no trade.
yeah, so they probably he probably done pissed them off because the owner already made a comment about just give me dudes that can play instead of these just paraphrase to give dudes that can play instead of stars that's not going to play. So the owner already pissed off at both him and Kyrie. So Miami is on KD's list. I know it's still like a potential for Miami with Mitchell. The whole Gobert to Minnesota, it's a good trade, but I think, and I see what you said probably about the pieces that Minnesota used to get Gobert with the 5 picks. I just think Minnesota's in a situation where they not a free agent hotbed. So they can't rely on the key free agents to come there year in and year out during the off season. So they may have to make these bold trades like this. The NBA is different than the NFL. Sometimes, just the draft picks just don't. If you don't really have a lottery pick or a top 3 pick in a draft in the NBA, it's a crapshoot. Who you get. It's not like the NFL where there's so much value on them top picks. So Minnesota say, man, we're gonna pull the NBA version of the Rams. We're just gonna stack our team, try to get our team with quality players, and not try to build through this draft thing. So I understand. I know people are saying like they gave up too much for Gobert, but I think they kind of in a situation where they just, you ain't gonna get no free agents when you come there. Nobody really choose to go to Minnesota, so you're gonna have to get aggressive.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get aggressive to better your team.
And Shawnee, want to mention something else about that. Let's look at their roster real quick. Now, not taken by them, D'Angelo Russell, number 2 overall pick. Anthony Edwards, number 1 overall pick. Karl Anthony Towns, number 1 overall pick. The draft ain't it. I mean, the draft, you got the pieces because you drafted high. But where they're going to be drafting at probably for the next 2 years if they can consistently make the playoffs, yeah. But Marcus, what I want to say as far as boxing and MMA, I know it was a good fight that I didn't get to catch this weekend. Well, they said it was actually a boring fight, but it was a big name. But I'm still waiting for it's a few boxers I'm waiting to get on, mainly Spence and the Bud Crawford fight. I'm really waiting for that one to come because that's the topic we did have. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because it was like it was really looking like there was a lot of momentum for the fight, and then it wouldn't happen. And then as far as boxing, I did see, I want to say one of the Charlo twins was kind of going at it about Bud Crawford and saying, man, if you wanted to see him, he would knock him out. And he was even pressuring him because he's cool with Spence to go ahead and do the fight. So it's kind of one of those deals. I know it may be paperwork, and that's the one thing that turns me as a fan away from boxing. Get the fight done. And I will say I don't pay as much attention to UFC, but the fights happen, and they are consistent. And so that's something that boxing needs to get Spence people, Bud Crawford people in the room and kind of be like, hey, we're not leaving till this fight is done. Yeah, the Triple G fight is happening with Canelo. And I'm interested to see. Marcus, do you know when that one is? Because that's my thing. Sometimes it'll be like the weekend before, the day before, and I'll find out about the fight. And I'll be like, and I'm checking sports stuff regularly, so.
But I was looking at all the NBA topics you had. Looks like we covered them. We can hear Poppy, you and Jay, what y'all opinions on some of these NBA topics. So far, I just recap what we went over. KD requesting to be traded. Knicks going all in to get Jalen Brunson. Of course, we just talked about Gobert and the T-Wolves trade. So those 3 NBA topics. Yeah. And Bill. Yeah, Bill.
Bad chaser.
I look at Bill in a totally different situation than Bronson because I think Bronson deserved to go after the money. Bill, I'm like, dude, I guess it's not about the ring for you and the part of your career. So he's not gonna go nowhere in Washington.
Yeah, nah. But a lot of people.
So Bill signed up back to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
No, but that's smart because now he locked in because the Wizards the only team that can give him 5 years. Because if he would have signed for somebody else, he would have signed for 4. That wouldn't be at least $50-60 million less. That's smart from him because he can still turn around and ask for a trade.
It is. Yeah. Only thing is, I was listening to, or I think it was, what is his name? I was listening to Lowe from ESPN, and he was saying, okay, how hard is that contract to trade? Because he's a good player, but you're looking at mid-level contracts is still like in the 20s. You need probably even some $10 million deals. You need probably minimum four players, 3 or 4 guys to trade for him. And are you willing to, like, Poppy, if you're a GM, are you trading 4 guys for him?
Yes, because he's a difference maker, bro. That man can put 50 points in any game, bro. But he's the perfect player for LeBron James.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you're not just gonna find that. But my thing is with him is he doesn't change the game enough for me.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but he's not a number 1, bro. We know that. It's only like 5-6 number 1s in the league, bro. That's it.
Name them.
You know,
of course, KD. Who else can I go down the list?
Steph Curry.
Gianni, KD. Let me see who the champion is. Steph. I believe. What's the last game?
I don't believe Kawhi is number 1. You said in Boston?
Yeah, Tatum. I think he's a number 1.
He's a 1. Even if he's not the quote-unquote superstar with, I mean.
Yeah, but you got to understand, homeboy, like what, 24, 23? So you got to give him time, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree.
I'll give him time.
Tatum's a 1.
He's a certified 1.
Kawhi's a certified 1.
Giannis, who else? I think the center from Philly.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, yeah.
He's a certified 1. A Jokic. I mean, like I say, it's like a small pool, like 7 or 8 people, like a certified.
True. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, as far as getting the money, I still respect it. I hate to see bad organizations like waste. Like as fans, true, we have a lot of time to watch it, but these players only watch the game. They only have a few years, you know, especially those prime years when they figured it out, and they're wasting years.
How old is Bill?
Bill is close to 30. I think he's 29. So
yeah, but he's a shooter, so his game doesn't rely on athleticism, so he can last. He literally got another.
Wait, Bill
at
is
least
29?
8 years.
Yeah.
I thought that motherfucker was 35.
Nah.
He looked 35.
Bill only been in the league for less than 7-8 years, I believe.
Now with him getting that max extension, he's a 10-year vet. He's a 10-year vet. That's how long it's been. That's why he stayed, and probably why he didn't want to get traded. Remember when Kawhi didn't want to get traded or whatever? He wanted to sign that so he could get that 10 years in the game, so you get that certain amount of the cap. And so that very well could be the play, and he's kept it quiet, or he could just be the most loyalist guy. And
of the Wizards.
But let's be real, bro. Like, it's only a few players you can count on one hand that really cares about the ring. Like LeBron cares because he's chasing legacy. KD cares. But that's
the thing that I think that's what's kind of watering down the NBA. I mean, it's nothing compared. Players got paid. You know, in the NBA you're gonna get paid. But now, because the access of the money that they're getting, they sacrificing the basic goal of pretty much majority of professional athletes. Now, there's some professional athletes who don't have the super talent, so their mindset is come in the league and get as much money as they can before they, you know, and that's not those stars. That's more like the role players, so they don't know how long they're going to be in the league.
Yeah.
But the ones who established, they even starting to have that mindset now. It's just money.
But I believe it's been like that the whole time, bro. Because look, what percentage? Okay, I want to ask you a question. Like, what percentage do you think of the league right now honestly care about a ring?
That's fair. Not right now. Not that. Well, there's some, but right now in this
Give me a
era of
number,
NBA,
little percentage, like from 1 to 100.
25%.
I'm about right. I was gonna say 20.
I'll say
Because
1 out of 4. I'll say 1 out of every 4 guys. It's all about getting that ring because.
and I'm gonna tell you why, bro. Because when you get in $200 million contract, nigga, forget a ring, fam. I can buy one. I can buy a couple rings. I can buy a whole diamond. Pure too.
You can, but you can, but for me, it's just like you bought it. You didn't actually work your ass off for it, and I understand people who would just like to buy it, but like I said, KD's trying to build a legacy, so I don't think he wants to buy his shit.
Yeah, but I'm missing my point though. This is the point I'm trying to say, bro. The money is right there, guaranteed. A ring is chasing a championship ring is never guaranteed. You can be in the final, game 6, and KD might get hurt, game over. You see what I'm saying? He was close. But guess what?
He say that.
and that's what I made the comment earlier, that because of the amount of money that the players are susceptible to in today's era, you seeing a whole lot more now pick money instead of. It's not really chasing a ring. It's just when you basically in a no-win situation.
Business.
Beal is in a no-win situation. Lillard is in a no-win situation. Carmelo with the Knicks was in a no-win situation. We see it. Them players damn sure know they ain't gonna win nothing over there. Yep. So they done probably got immune. Yeah, they got immune to the losing, which that's Kobe and Jordan. You would never put them in that boat. Hell, not even LeBron. LeBron just kind of, he's a little bit less, but Kobe and Jordan will get sick. Yeah. And so they don't have those players no more. They just give me the bag. I know I'm in a losing situation.
I mean, to me, it's like the only one that really wants it is like people who haven't had a taste for a championship. Like John Morant, I feel like he wants one. Even with his contract he got. Jimmy got maybe 4 years left in him, and after that, that's it. I would say try to push for a ring as quick as you can.
Yeah, and
whether he do that with Donovan or KD, just get one and he's good.
Yeah, but you know something I think that we don't think about enough as far as the money, like Poppy was saying. All right, so my little brother is he's 17. He plays AAU, and he's not at the big circus, whatever. We know that. We just trying to go. We playing for the love. Hopefully somebody gets him a scholarship, one of the lower level schools. But when you see that you're paying at this level, even for the big guys, because the big guys are at some of the same tournaments as the smaller teams, you paying $50, $60 to get in to catch them as an amateur. So that you getting money off of me as an amateur over here in league ball. Then I'm paying in these showcases for my high school, and they're paying money, showing me on ESPN. We are making them into professionals at that level at a very early age. So you get a guy like, let's look at Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers had a pretty solid career. He made good money. Austin Rivers probably lived a decent life. Even him who went to Duke was like, I'm ready to go because I'm ready to be a pro. Look at Zion. 1 million something followers. We're making them into pros so fast. So it's like, now it's like, look how much they see the contracts and the deals. They know what they're making off of them. They know that LeBron to the city of Cleveland on a game night was worth millions and millions. He was worth $100 million himself to the local economy. How many 23 jerseys did you see? How much the food vendors, LeBron's in town, he has a game. So yeah, that's a lot to that. And the money is getting bigger with the NBA contract. And the NBA is a league to where they can control the narrative of the money more than the NFL. So yeah, I don't blame them. And the NFL is the one place where you got to get the money. But the NBA as well, because you know, I read a story of that. These guys are going so hard at a young age. You got the Zions and you got these guys. You don't know how much scar tissue they got. You don't know why they 28. And it's like, man, he ain't got the vertical he used to have. Yeah, because I've been jumping and running around and playing 5-6 games on the weekend for 12 years straight.
Yeah, so and that's why I always say go for the money, man. You got to secure your family. That's the number one priority. Forget the game. I mean, the game, obviously, that's how you make your dollars, but you got to secure your family. And that's how these people thinking, like, yo, I'm not going to take a $60 million cut trying to chase a championship ring. Like, nah, man. I need all that. I need all of that, man. I'm planning to have 5, 7 kids, whatever. My mama need a mansion. My dad need a mansion. My little brother. Everybody need to get.
See, Papa, what you saying that, yeah, okay, that's understandable, but the fans notice that too.
Yeah.
You basically sacrificing. I don't want to say you sacrificing the integrity of the game.
Now you sacrificing.
You basically are. You giving a take somewhere. The players you getting paid, but the fans are seeing a watered down product. Now,
backstab.
Now the NBA got to, it's not, it's maybe not the same NBA that folks are accustomed to seeing because players are moving around, creating super teams, or players just, I guess back in the past you will commend a player for staying with a franchise because it shows loyalty, because they sticking it out. But then it's also like, okay, it's loyalty, but it's loyalty to a no-win situation. And there's, like the players we named, they're in that. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, the players, you get their money. Go get your money by any means necessary. But something's getting sacrificed, and that's the integrity of the game. Because now the fans was like, man, it's not the same. It's just like dudes just want to play the game to make, you just want to get all this money, but we see the product on the floor, and it's not adding up. It's just not adding up. So that's the more of a problem, and I think they I'm pretty sure as hell the NBA talk about that. Because they issue is not really the contract; it's the players choosing not to play.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot with them.
Well, the thing is, we have to go back to like some of these teams do want championships, like for real. Hold on, I'm echoing. All right, am I good now?
Yeah.
All right, good. Thank God. That was annoying the hell out of me. No, the thing is, some of these teams do want championships, like the ones that I can see. Like honestly, I'm gonna say Luka. For one, Luka definitely wants one. The Suns definitely want one. They wouldn't be pushing so hard and be angry as they were if they didn't want one. Let's just be real. Well, whether it's about a pay cut or not, they want that. The Heat are obviously one of them. The Bucks, you can't say because I didn't feel like they put that in that effort. But I'll say slightly them. So it's like there are certain people that do want to get it regardless of the pay and all that. Of course, they want their money, but the thing is, they feel some of them just want to get that chip, and I get behind that, and I think those people are the ones who are really not trying to backstab the fans or whatever, or trying to backstab themselves really because they know how good they are. You think Jimmy is going as hard as he is just because he want to put on a show? I don't believe that. That man trying to win. He's trying to win. That's literally all his mindset has always been. I don't care about any of the freaking points. I just want to win. And that mentality is not that of somebody who just wants to get paid. He's trying to get some shit. At the end of the day, his money is good and all, but he wants to affirm, he wants that affirmation. And I know Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you can name all the greats, all that. They all did that in a sense. They've lamented their legacy. I'm not saying Jimmy wants a legacy, but at least that you'll know he'll be one of the cats besides just LeBron, besides Wade, just to come down there and try to win something. He's trying to be like, because listen, he's the heart of that team.
That's a different era, though.
The 80s and 90s players.
That's a different era.
I know the eras. I know the people back then were harder than the new ones now.
Not necessarily. Back then the owners used to put the players on a chokehold. Now the players, no, I'm telling you the truth. They know that they got a little bit of power. Players know they got power. They know they got juice. So now they put in their own things together.
I love that.
Yeah, the NBA was telling them, they were trying to, they was roughing up the game too much, and
I know it was blood sport. It was blood sport.
So that was a good move, because obviously it worked. Look how the NBA grown. When NBA was so basically domestic. Jordan came and made it international. Now it's just ridiculous how big the basketball is. You got basketball being played in countries that never played ball before. So The game has grown. It's just when you just look at when you talk about the money that the players get, because you get your money. I never want to take money out of a man's pocket, but
Right.
we just right now talking about just how the personalities of a basketball player has changed throughout the eras. Like of course they didn't have access to the money that the players do now, but the mentality that they just had this.
Probably had to work harder, actually.
Yeah, this dog-like mentality, just win. And by far, you just see that just get watered down until boys just want to get nothing but the money. And us as fans, we see that. So, you want the players to get their money, but it is noticeable how the players are just. You don't want to say it, but it almost looks like they just don't care as much. But it's not my place to sit there and tell them you don't care about playing. It's just, like, damn, dude, it's just.
It's about business today, bro. They don't look at themselves as a player no more. They are a walking business.
Yeah.
And this is why if I'm one of those small market things, I will be scared to death. Like y'all mentioned Jack Moran. Jack Moran got another maybe 3. He got another 3 years. He got like 3 years in Memphis. After that, you better book it. He's gonna be out of it. He's gonna because they want to be in the big city. They want to be in Florida, no income tax. They want to be in Texas, no income taxes. They want to be in LA, access to the movies. They want to be in New York with the money. These people like Jack Moran, little things with good players like Donovan Mitchell and Jack Moran, they know they're gonna lose those players. They know that. Because they cannot compete with the big cities. So the little market always going to be screwed. They're going to get a good player. They're going to develop that good player. And they're always going to end up in LA, somewhere in LA, Texas, Florida, New York. That's like the beautiful destinations right there.
I agree.
Actually, I think it depends on the GMs. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it just depends on the GMs, honestly, like how they contract these
that's what I'm about to say.
And also,
I think Ja is in a good spot.
Yeah.
Ja's in a good spot. He's in a small market, but he's in a team that's actively trying to create a winner. Yeah. And right now they have a good team. So I think if a player gets that, because LeBron, that was his main reason of leaving Cleveland. Over there. Yeah, they wouldn't give LeBron. They wouldn't build that type of team. So he was like, hell.
It's because the players don't want to go over there, Shawnee. The players he called Wade. Yeah, like, yo, go to Cleveland. Wade was like, wow, you crazy. I mean, South Beach. What do you think I want to go to Cleveland?
Yeah, but Memphis is doing a better job. Memphis is doing a better job with building a team right now. So I think Ja may have the edge.
Yeah, but they got a cap, bro. Like a lot.
They have a cap.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like things like that. They can only go into certain level unless or a lot of stuff got to fall into, you know what I mean? They got to get lucky too. Do you think KD KD's on the trading block right now? Do you think KD want to go to Memphis? That's a good spot for KD to go. I don't think that's on his trading list because he don't want to be on a small city like that.
Oh, him with Ja? Yeah, that'd be dope.
I don't know what KD want to do. If he lands in Memphis, I know he'll make it work. I don't know. I don't really know.
Somebody said the
because he chose Phoenix. Phoenix, and Phoenix.
Yeah, because Phoenix is ready to win, though. Phoenix is
ready to win. So is Memphis.
No, Phoenix is a big city, though. Don't get it twisted, man. I'm here. I'm in Phoenix right now. This is a huge city.
It's a big city. Yeah. But Phoenix gets the Houston treatment. As big as Houston is not. Nobody really talk about Houston in the national media. Yeah, they don't even talk about the Astros and how good the Astros are.
No, but the thing is, if you get traded to Houston, and let's be real, and the NBA is 85% black, you're not leaving. You're gonna enjoy it. That's the thing.
He said you black.
It's gonna have that same appeal. I'm not gonna say you why, but I'm just, it's something about the city or whatever. We just gonna guess. But I'll say this about the Grizzlies to wrap up on the basketball: the owner is worth almost $13 billion. So if they need to go into the luxury tax, it won't be a problem as far as being a small market team. So they're a sleeping giant over there in Memphis because they got him locked up. So they're gonna have to just trade for somebody get them to love the culture, and then they're gonna be beloved. Only thing is, I need Ja Morant to kind of chill a little bit on the IG live.
Why you even chill?
Too much. You know what I'm saying? And like I heard one of my boys say, one of the worst things that could have happened was Moneybag Yo giving him that damn chain. Now he really want to act like all right, yeah, I agree with that.
Hey man, with the money he got, let him wild out. Just don't get stupid with it. That's all. I mean, that's all.
Ja Morant will be with man for a couple years. I promise you that.
So we wrapping up here. I did want to touch a little bit of football because literally I was sending out the show list of what we was going to talk about today, and Baker Mayfield had just got traded. Yeah. So, Shawnee, I'm going to leave it to you, man. How you feel about that? Or how do you feel that now he's gone and two of the three top picks from the 2018 draft are on the same team? How the hell is that going to work out, man?
Who was it? It was Baker, Goff, and...
No, it was Baker,
Darnold. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold and Saquon was the 2 pick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And well, Darnold, hell, he had a chance in 2 different cities. It didn't work out. So he just basically, I don't really know if bringing Baker is going to make. I heard they may just put Baker kind of in a clipboard position for a little bit. But Darnold, you're talking about having somebody breathing down your neck. Only reason why Baker's going to be having a clipboard because he's still trying to learn the offense. As soon as he learns the offense, they're going to make the switch. Do I feel like he's going to be a game changer for the Panthers? Yet to be seen. They don't have the weapons. He's not going to have the weapons by far as he would with the Browns. I mean, he had the line, the running backs, the receivers, and still didn't get it done. It was an interesting quote from Robbie Anderson. I think when he found out that Baker was coming to Carolina, I think he would say like, no, it's like he wasn't. It was something he didn't approve of. So Baker he got one thing to worry about, his production on the field, but in the locker room, because see, Baker and Wentz, I put them in the same boat. They don't get in trouble off the field, but it's within the locker room. Them dudes just don't have no respect for their teammates. Like
Wentz is a better quarterback, dog.
I don't know, because I thought when Wentz and Dak was drafted in the same draft, I thought the Cowboys would be better with Wentz because physically he marks it. But you can't. I don't care what physical tools you have; they don't measure what you got inside the head.
I'll tell you why real quick, man. Wentz was in pace to win the MVP when it was in 18. I think it was.
No, that was 17. Man was that's what everybody bring up. 17, he got hurt, so we don't know what happened. But since then,
the man was like 30-something touchdown to like 5 interceptions. He was having a monster year. Guess what? Baker never had none of that. Baker had a super thing, and he never did anything. Baker is trash, bro. Let just know.
No, I'm not saying Baker. I thought Baker had a great upside coming into the league, but Baker and Wentz, it's the same thing. Like no matter what, Wentz had at the time good measurables, and then people try to point how he was playing in 2017. But that dude has no leadership skills. Baker's the same way. They both pout when they don't get their way. So the leadership, the locker room does not follow either one of them dudes. And you see it on the field. So I don't know what happened between 2017 and those extra 2 years that Wentz was in Philly. He lost the locker room and he pouted when they put Jalen Hurts in. And then you got Baker Mayfield, who was kind of a little bit more, I give him a little bit more leeway because they wanted to go get Watson. But the Browns, they committed to Baker and he still didn't produce. So you got 2 dudes right there, they're not leaders. And that's the primary thing a quarterback needs to do on a team. Yeah. They lost the locker room a long time ago, and that's why both of them kind of in the same boat. So
yeah, it's over for Baker.
I don't know how Baker's going to really do himself. Like I said, I was high on him coming out of college because I thought he was he was just a good college QB. And you never know how a college QB is going to transition to the NFL because they can have all the physical tools, again, like Wentz. but it's a whole different thing when it comes to decision making. And
The Oklahoma system.
Wentz, he was used to all that winning he was doing in North Dakota. And he got in the NFL. I don't know what the hell happened to that dude. The decisions that he was making, I was like, nah, man, it's not cutting. That's why Indy was like, yeah, get him out of here. He just wasn't that dude. So I don't know what Washington gonna do with him.
I don't know, but Hank, I appreciate you checking this out. Yeah, all the quarterbacks except for one in that 2018 don't look like they were gonna make it. Lamar was taken in the 32nd pick, and I want to say he's still got something to prove, but he's enough. He's shown you enough as far as winning the MVP that he can put it together. Whereas the other guys, I have no hope for them putting it together. So Shani, you touched on that, so I won't bang on that drum. Enough, and I'll save my wins takes for another day because vision is going to be a feast for the Cowboys secondary, the Giants secondary, and the Eagles secondary. But what I was pointing on real quick is, somebody posted a video the other day, and I think it was a hit from Cam Chancellor, and he's somebody that all the wear and tear on his body. I think it was like a spinal type of injury. He wasn't able to play anymore. And people always use the word soft. And I need people to stop on this football season. I challenge you to stop saying things are soft unless it's something that's truly soft. If it's something that guys are protecting their bodies, not to keep that in mind. Because in February of 2021, Vincent Jackson, who played, I think Vincent Jackson, he's one of the guys that played in that last era where he could really just knock your block off. He died, and I want to say he died alone in his apartment. They found that he had stage 2 CTE. Demaryius Thomas, he just passed away, I want to say, a few weeks from his birthday in December of 2021. So two guys that played in that mid-2000s, and he had stage 2 CTE. And he had issues of dealing with memory loss and things, and it was starting to come together. And a lot of times those guys would have shown a track record. They stay away from themselves because they don't trust themselves, or they just, burn all the bridges because they're not right mentally. So I appreciate anyone that is anything in the NFL is doing, or the union to make things safer in the game, because we got to try to take care of our veterans, the guys that we've enjoyed them playing, and then they just disappear. And then when they pass away, like we just had Marion Barber pass away as well. So that's just something I want people to keep in mind. If a guy goes out of bounds, he's soft or he's this, or they, when they're trying to legislate the big hits out of the game. That's why. I know we're wrapping up here, so that's my closing remark. So I'll leave the rest of you guys.
No, I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. They be calling, but the people that always say stuff like that, they never play, man. I played, but it wasn't on NFL level for play. You know what I mean? It's rough.
Hey, man,
that field, it's rough.
The grass. That's all I can do, man. For y'all, flag football. That's about as far as it goes. Because trust me, you get injured really early. When you're young, and then when you get older, worse. Some might not.
I see them with this Lamar comment. I'm gonna get on that next week.
Yeah.
Because that Lamar, it's a touchy
Lamar need to learn how to throw, man. That's it.
See, we
you said troll?
No, he learned how to be accurate.
We running late on time. Bobby, I appreciate you coming through and checking us out. Jay, I appreciate you.
Anytime.
The whole chat, I appreciate you for checking us out, man. I'm Dante. This is the one-on-one sports show on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Black Man, we appreciate you, bro. And Shawnee, anything else, man?
No, man, I appreciate y'all for joining in. See y'all next week.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.